Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and that your first week has been good and your experience with the course so far, despite the problems we're having with Canvas, is going well. This video is very specifically about your Unit 1 assignment, which the prompt for the assignment, the details for the assignment are present in week 1, module week 1. So you can go over there, look at them, but I would like to discuss with you what do I expect from you when I am asking you for, a research proposal. So whenever we start a research or an idea, we always begin with the context of a research proposal. In this case, you have the benefit because you will be the one deciding on the topic for your research. So let's say something that interests you. It can be anything at all. If you actually dig deep enough, if you read a lot about whatever interests you, you'll find that there are always research opportunities present in that particular area. So let's go over the prompt a little bit so that I can discuss what exactly a research proposal is. Keep 2 or 3 things in mind. Leaving the points in your prompt aside, a research proposal explains the area of your research, which means the general, the broad area. Let's say you want to talk about environment change or weather change or climate change, so you want to talk about that. Now climate change is a very, very big issue. Climate change can be about the phenomenon of climate change itself and how dangerous it is for future generations and for the generations living on the planet right now. But you can also talk about the current debates going on about climate change. So if you see, there are so many different schools of thought about climate change. Let's see the two big ones. One coming from people who believe in climate change, and for another coming from people who do not believe that there is anything like climate change. So these two viewpoints have their own particular agendas, their own particular ideologies, and their own particular conversational and rhetorical tactics. So let's say if you were researching that topic for your research area because you were interested in it, what you would do is you will try and find out what is being said about the topic currently. What was being said about the topic maybe 10 or 15 years in the past. Just skim over a few papers, look for scholarly resources, look for newspaper articles, look for journal articles, magazine articles, blogs, anything. For the time being, this is the very, very basic point for your research. This is the first and second week. So what you need to do is you need to get to be an expert in the field that you want to talk about. So what you will do is you will find out as much information and then decide what is the particular thing in the current debates that interests you. What is the question that you want to ask on the basis of what is going on around the area. So let's see. You have decided on, so when you are doing this, you'll be doing the first thing that is the requirement of any research proposal, which is providing the context. Context is surrounding information that will help make sense of your research question or research study. So let's say if you randomly say climate change and you make a statement about it, but you don't explain that you're talking about climate change in, let's say, the American context. You're talking about people who believe or do not believe about climate change in the American context. You are not making that idea clear. So you need to do that. And that is a very, very, I would say, it's not a really good way of explaining context. A context makes everything clear. So what you will do is you will provide information. A context explains why this topic is important to you in current debates that are going on, why it is the area that you want to talk about, why is that area essential, why it is a point of interest. And lastly, you have to explain about how you came to think that the topic, that the area, the specific area that you're going to discuss in your research is essential in the current environment. So this means that you will be doing what? You will be providing information about your research in developing the context, information about the area, information about the topic, and then information about what within the area specifically are you going to discuss and talk about. So keep that in mind. It's very important. We are not going to discuss something very general. The more specific you are in your work, the more directed you are, the more focused you are, the better your research paper and your focus and your research writing and your research proposal is going to be. All right, so let's go over the details for Unit 1 assignment, because think, in the next unit, Unit 2, you're supposed to be choosing a topic of your choice that will give you an idea of how to look for topics that are going to be important to you and how you're going to find information about those topics and write analytical and rhetorical analysis of those papers, so you get a general idea of how to use writing as invention to clarify your own ideas in your mind. And then by the end of the semester, you're going to present me with a completely fully written research writing paper. So all right, if you will look at the prompt in Unit 1, proposing a research question is, again, a research paper. The point of a research question is to make sure that your research is very, very directed. It is pointed towards one specific thing instead of talking very generally about something. For example, you can say, what are the consequences for the people who do not believe in climate change? Now that's a very obvious question. Most people already know what would be the consequences. So you want to ask yourself, why do they not believe in climate change? What are the issues that lead people to believe that? Think of the way we ask questions in order to be able to invent and gain new insights and come up with new ideas. So a question that is really, really specific, and then your research, the context you provide, will not just be about climate change, it will be about other things as well. It will be about how climate change is important, how climate change is focused, and how exactly what within that area are you talking about. So your research question helps you do that. So in this assignment, you're going to come up with the research question, but you have to provide the context for the research question first. All right, so let's look at the assignment. Its components, and I'm going to bring this here and read it out for you a little bit. Okay, so you have to write a brief research proposal, and it should have a specific research question and a thesis for your proposed research. Now, I'm sure you know what a thesis is. A thesis is a general statement, your own particular stance in the paper. So what you're going to do is you're going to first of all find out, read a lot about it, and then come up with that question. You have to provide the context. You have to provide why that question is important, how it has been addressed by other writers, what are the people talking about when they talk about that question. So focus on that. That's very important. All right, and also how whatever question you have come up with, how will that question give new information, new insight into the problem that you are researching. All right, so basically these are the three components that I want in the paper. The three components that you see here. The way you want to go about doing it is totally up to you. Now, a lot of questions generally come from students about what should be the format of the paper. I think at this point in time, the thing that you should be focusing on is the topic, the area, the question, your particular passion and interest regarding that question. That is very important. The more invested you are, the more interested you will be in the topic that you choose. As far as format goes, it is mentioned Times New Roman, indented, double line spacing, landfill, everything is mentioned in the beginning. All right, I will even upload a sample paper and things like that for you. I think I've already done that in the syllabus, or at some point I'll just point that out in the modules and in the courses. Look at it, go over it. Don't worry about that for the timing. Worry about the content of the essay. This is your first major assignment that is going to be submitted at the end of week 4, which means you need to be starting to work on it already. All right, so best of luck for that. If you have any questions about it, send me an email, let me know, and we can talk about it. Thank you.